Hello, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day and welcome to Worldly Things. This is an episode of Worldly Advice, and I'm your host, Cat Shark. And today we shall be talking about how to put together your Beyblade and Beyblade Burst. And the reason why I'm doing this video is I know some people that don't know how to put these Beyblades together. Like, mostly because it might have been a while since they last Beybladed me, and also they don't own Beyblades. So, I thought of doing the good explanation that I do it. And I got 3 different Beyblades, for example. Have a right spinning blade, Excalius X3, a left spinning bay, Fafnir 3, and a combination right spin and left spin bay, Sprites and Requiem. Ooh. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to take apart Excalius here, and right up close, the first thing you want to do before you put your Beyblade together is you want to look at the positioning here. And you see how there's a couple of almost rectangular edges just on the outside of like the circular hole here. I'm sorry. Hey, about this, I don't know why the camera's goofing up on the focus. Maybe if I do close up here. No. Come on. Well, anyway, there's a couple of rectangular edges on the outside of the circle here. And when you lay it down and pick up like your forge disc here, you want to look on the inside here, and you see these 2 shallow slots, I think I would call them, and just put them here. And what you want to do is you don't line up the slots towards those rectangular edges I told you about, of like the inner circle here. You want to go opposite, kind of like a crisscross type of thing. Okay? And when you're about to do your tip, you see these bumps or notches or whatever you want to call them, and you want to put them into the slots. So I'll just show you here. Like, this is the wrong way to do it, like it's not going in. But however, when you get it in over the slots, it would give like this. And that's a good thing to do. So again, you just, for right spin tops, you wanna make sure it's just like this, having the slots on the rounder sides of the center. And then you take the performance tip, put those ridges into the weight disc slots, then you see these 2 weight disc bits here sticking out, and you wanna turn it counterclockwise like that, and there you go, you got your right spin top ready. And just to note, when it gets hit or hits anything over time, it slowly turns and then bursts apart. So let's go over this again. Take white disc and frame, make sure that the slots of the forge disc are pointing on the circular sides of the center. just outside of the QR code there. Take your performance tip, put the two bump things on there, and you turn it clockwise, I guess, if you're doing it with the performance tip facing up towards you. But when you got the layer facing you, it's counterclockwise. So that's for how you do with the right spin. Now for the left spin. Oops. Okay, so you basically take the layer, and again, it has a very similar bit to Excalius and other right spin bays, except this is the left spin. So what you want to do, take the Beyblade like this, and you want to move it around until the slots of the forged disc are on the same sides as this rounded parts of the top center hole. Then take your performance tip, put it in like this. Then if you're doing this performance tip facing you, you want to turn it counterclockwise, and then it's locked. Or if you got the layer facing you, do it clockwise. Okay, so let's do a quick comparison. Right spin with the layer facing you. You turn it counterclockwise. With the left spin layers, with the left spin layers, you do it clockwise. Okay, so to clear this up, with the layer facing up, you lock in your bay towards counterclockwise. For left spins, clockwise. Counterclockwise, clockwise. But however, you're most likely going to do it with that performance tip facing up. You want to make sure everything's just like this setup with the slots on the rounded side of the center. Then, whoops, lost the grip there. You want to turn clockwise. Then, for left spin, you do counterclockwise. Okay, so if you're doing it performance tip up, which I'm pretty sure that's what everybody's doing. Good, I'll unlock both here. So, for right spin layers, clockwise. Left spin layers, counterclockwise. Clockwise for right spin, counterclockwise for left spin. Okay? Right spin equals right spin in layers are clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. Right spin layers are clockwise when you got the performance tip facing at you. Left spin bays are counterclockwise with the tip facing you. And here's probably the trickiest of them all. Some Beyblades that have the ability to change their spin directions because of this neat little gimmick. There's like a couple of teeth things just on the outsides of this white layer here. And you can't really, you could just faintly tell if the camera, just let me try something. And Come on, camera. Zoom it in. Pretty please. Okay, so you can't really see it, but there are R's and L's on here. R's and L's. So when the little white tooth notches on the outside of this white ring are pointing at the R, it means it's set to right spin. So what you do is do the same thing with the right spin layer. You have it set up like this. Put your bay in and performance tip out. Turn it clockwise. Or if you got the layer facing you, you turn it counterclockwise. So with the performance tip up is clockwise. Now for the left spin and change, you require a special tool, which you can find on a standard ripcord or on the dual thread launcher here. So what you want to do is put these two points on here and line them up with the rectangular slot marks in the center, just like this. Then you turn it towards the L's here. So you can see now, it is now in left spin because of the two L's. L's being pointed at by the yellow notches. So, just like with the left spin layers, you do the same process. If you got the performance tip pointing up, you do it counterclockwise. So again, left spin, counterclockwise. Okay. However, if you got the layer up pointing up at you, it's clockwise to lock it up. Clockwise, clockwise. So, to me, the biggest thing to remember about the Beyblades is if it's right spin. If you're doing it with the performance tip pointing up at you, right spin is clockwise, left spin is counterclockwise. Nice. If the energy layer here is pointing up at you, right spin is counterclockwise. If it's left spin, clockwise. Counterclockwise, clockwise. Nice. So, this has been my advice video here on how to set up your bays. And one thing I'm pretty sure that you all might get confused at before I end this video is how the heck do you put your Beyblade on here? Well, that's a good question. So, if you got your launcher set to right spin, you want to remember about how you turn your layer for right spin counterclockwise. Same basic principle. See, even that click is. So when you got your launcher at right spin and you have a right spin bay, just turn it counterclockwise. Nice. Simple as that. Okay, he's just stubborn on there. There we go. Okay. So if you want your left spin bay on there, you just turn it clockwise. It's as simple as that. And so, when you're in right spin mode, when you're launching right spin, turn your bay counterclockwise when attaching it. When you're doing left spin on a launcher, turn it clockwise. So, let's go, before we end this, let's go over again about the best way to do it. Since most of you are probably going to be doing it with the performance tips up. Right spin, clockwise. Left spin, counterclockwise. Guys, right spin, clockwise. Left spin, counterclockwise. Nice. That's just a simple thing you gotta remember. So hopefully this whole video has been helpful to you, and I suggest that the next time you have some relative or friend that doesn't know anything about Beyblades and you hate explaining it to them on how to put it together, and they just are not good at putting them together, you should show them this video. It'll probably give them laughs and stuff. Enough about me. So, hope you all have a good St. Patrick's Day. This has been worldly view about worldly things. This is a worldly advice video. I'm your host, Killjark, and have a good one. Goodbye.